my face, there's blisters on my feet, and I'll keep dancing. Oh, we're dancing, dancing, dancing together. Oh, we're dancing, dancing, dancing in Africa. I don't need your money, and I don't want the fame, just a little piece of dust, some seed and some rain. Oh, we're dancing, dancing, dancing together. Oh, we're dancing, dancing, dancing over Africa. Oh, it's a song I sing, beat in my feet. God gave life, living all for Him. Oh, we're dancing, dancing, dancing together. Oh, we're dancing, dancing, dancing over Africa. Oh, we're dancing, dancing, dancing together. Oh, we're dancing, dancing. Good morning. Got a new cup from a friend from America. She moved there last year, the one I told you about who got married. And she sent it, and she sent me 4, and 2 of them broke in the mail. They were like different colors, but I love this one. This green is one of my favorite colors, and I don't know if you can see, but the inside's got those little dots. And I'm drinking just plain black coffee. I've been eyeballing for a while, and it's just because firstly it's been really busy, and I've been sorting out my life and sorting out everything around me and making sure what do I have, what do I want to keep, what do I want to let go, because there's a lot of things that I've acquired through the years and it's not really adding value to my life. So I've really been editing, let's call it editing. There's this lady called, no, I forgot her name, but I really like her, Mamatronic on oh, her thing is, her podcast is my so-called handmade life. Now I still haven't figured out how to write stuff somewhere to get links. I'm going to try today, but I'm not sure. The other reason was that I've just been feeling like, I'm doing this and who's watching. But then when I started assessing, I realized I'm not doing this really for who's watching. Yes, it's nice if I get followers and people who's listening to what I have to say and who's interacting with me and leaving messages. I really love that, and it really, it's one of those things that just makes it feel like, you feel like there's people out there who thinks like I do and does things like me and stuff. Because the thing is, I've always kind of been different from other people, and for me it's the best thing to have found this community online that's so much like me, and to find out I'm not an island, And also I think living in South Africa, sometimes it's a bit difficult. There is knitters and there's creative people, but it's a different environment. So today I want to talk about the whole thing of finding your tribe, I want to call it almost. And also the whole thing of crossing barriers. And what I've realized recently is that there's a lot of people who's put up barriers in life. And I've done it. I mean, I'm still doing it. And there's also other people who's put up barriers. And barriers can be different things. It can be things like not allowing people to really get to know you, or any of those things. And so I had to sort out my taxes. It's tax season. And I was supposed to pay someone to do it, and then at the last minute this person just didn't pitch, and so I realized that I'm in trouble because my taxes are not sorted. So off I went with all my paperwork, and I got to the tax office, and the lady, sometimes you have cultural differences between people, and the lady was from a different culture in South Africa, and so we have like Afrikaans and English, and there's a big difference between the Afrikaans mentality and the English mentality. But then we also have like there's like 11 different tribes, like there's the Xhosas, the Sothis, the Tswanas, and each one of those tribes have their own culture. So we are a very cultural diverse country, but sometimes it's difficult because there's like barriers between the cultures. So I got to the point of actually now handing in all the stuff for my tax returns. And I sat there, and the lady was kind of like very, I could feel the barrier between us, and I thought, you know, I'm not going to interfere or actually try and interact with her. I was friendly and everything. I thought, I can see she's busy, and most likely she's not having a good day. So I asked her, because, you know, you don't know what is in public places, if it's allowed to or not. I said to her, listen, would you mind if I sit here knitting? And she's like, no, that's fine, go ahead, you can knit. Oh, I forgot that knitting. But anyway, so she, so I started knitting on the sleeve for this jersey. I'm going to fetch it. Sorry. Yes, that's what I wanted to show you. So I'm sitting there knitting on the sleeve because I'm busy with a jersey for our winter. So our winter here in the Eastern Cape is not very cold. It's like maybe like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm in the I'm in the task office, and I'm knitting my sleeve, and I'm on the needles. There you can see. So I'm on the 4 needles because it's in the start, and so I'm knitting with all these needles, and she's like, "What are you doing?" So I said, you know, I'm knitting a sleeve, you know, because winter is coming, and I've got tactile intolerance, so I can't really wear the stuff in the shops because they're often very synthetic. So I got some cotton yarn because South Africa is not that cold, and now I'm doing a jersey for me. So we're chatting and everything, and then she says to me, oh, I see you're not married. I said, yes, no, I'm not married. And she's like, but why not? Because in the Xhosa culture, because this was a Xhosa lady I was dealing with, it's actually, women get married, you know. So I said, you know, I haven't really found anyone I want to share my life with, and who I'm willing to give my independence up to. And also, if I find someone, we need to enhance each other and actually be each other's helpmates, not just I'm here to serve you, because that's one of the cultural things in the Xhosa culture. Is like, oh my gosh, these people are hooligans. Anyway, in the Xhosa culture, it's like you get married and you become a slave, according to me. I'm sure for the women who get married, they don't mind. But so for me, that's a thing of, there's a place of submitting, but there's also a place of not losing your identity. Because if you become a slave to someone, you cannot support them, and you cannot be there for them, and you cannot whatever. So anyway, we're chatting about this, and she's like, yes, you know, it's so true. And I'm not sure. I had the feeling as she was talking that she was divorced, because unfortunately it happens a lot. So anyway, we were chatting, and before I knew it, I'm just sitting there knitting away, you know, not really chatting or anything, but my knitting actually crossed the barrier, and her whole attitude towards me changed. And I was not feeling anything towards her, but it was just like she looked at me and she saw a certain stereotype. And by me knitting, it broke the stereotypes down, and it broke the barriers down. And I just thought that was so interesting. So let's talk about the jersey I'm knitting. The body is almost, I think the body is long enough. I've measured it, and I don't want it too long. I want it on my hip bone, just past my hip bone. You know, I'm not pear shaped. I'm kind of like straight with a apple shape. So most apple shapes, there you have your butt type of thing, and then you have your leg, and there's like a dimple between your leg and your butt. If you're pear shaped, it's this nice and pretty rounding. My sister's got that, but I don't have it. So anyway, on that dimple, I want this jersey to end. So it's long enough for that. And then the sleeves, it's a bottom up jersey. The sleeves go like that. So this one is, I think it's long enough. I will have to measure. I'm busy with the second sleeve, and I'm using a pattern. The instructions for drops 1421. I don't think you can see it very well. It's like a cardigan, but I'm making it a jersey. But it's a free pattern on Ravelry. Drops have quite a few patterns that's free. And there's a lot of people who have opinions about drops. But you know what? With my rand dollars exchange rate, I cannot afford really to buy a lot of patterns. So I really appreciate the free patterns that I can find. So that's the chart. And I really am enjoying the process. So I need to finish the second sleeve, and then I can actually start with the color work. And the colors I'm going to use are these ones. No, I need to take them out. Sorry about the noise, but I find a lot of people apologize about the noise, but it doesn't really bother me usually. So I hope it doesn't bother you either. So these are the colors I'm going to use for the color work. And I just love that combination. And also these colors will really work well in my wardrobe. So that's what I was busy with, and I was busy with the sleeve. This I knitted on the plane, and last weekend with my family for Easter. So that was just such a nice experience. So that brings me to my next point. I have my honors in psychology. So I studied through a correspondence university, and then they changed a lot of things like sorry, I've got the two dogs in here. They are so needy today, but it's too cute. They're both lying here at my feet. So the university had this one course. I didn't want to become a psychologist because I feel like there's a lot of psychologists out there, and the man on the street can usually not really afford to go to a psychologist, or the women on the street. So I wanted to become a psychological counselor, where you work with the man or the woman on the street. You work with PTSD, you work with trauma, you work with all of those things, which has been my passion. And for that reason, I also volunteered at our local. We've got a thing called Lifeline, where you actually counsel people online, or they can come in for counseling sessions. Unfortunately, it's in a very dodgy part of town, and I used to work at night, and you have to be wise. And then I would have to drive home for about half an hour to an hour. So I just got to a place where I didn't feel safe. And like I said, it's not like I'm on my own. I have just the two dogs and the two cats, and my family lives all over the country. So I've got good friends, but I don't really have that support system of a husband checking up on me or any of those things. So I just got to a place where I realized that I am jeopardizing my safety. And also there was quite a militant time. I mean, there were like student uproars and streets that were closed down because of tires burning and cars that were thrown around and stuff like that. So it was quite a scary time, and I just realized, I'm not able to help people if something happens to me. So I stopped it for a while, and I just focused my attention on other things like raising kittens, my other passion. I love cats. And so sometimes I volunteer to take in neonatal kittens, and then I raise them. But that's a story for another day. But anyway, so then I finished my honors, and the degree that I wanted to do afterwards, the university cancelled it because the psychology board in South Africa is quite strict, which I'm very happy about, because there's a lot of pseudo-psychology out there. And that's good, there is a place for it, but there's also a lot of stuff that can cause a lot of damage. So I really believe that this type of thing needs to be managed and guided to protect the man on the street, because you as someone that don't really have knowledge, go for counseling, and in the end that person can actually cause more harm than good. And for that reason, I believe that it's very important to have a body in place to manage it. But so the university I was studying through, they were supposed to have certain things in line, and they didn't do that. So that course was cancelled by the psychology board. And then they said, no, it's going to come back in a year or 2 years. And then after 2 years, I realized it's not back yet. And so I started looking at other options. But all the other universities, it was either full-time studying or it was part-time studying. But if I did the part-time, I had to redo my honors degree. And I mean, I've already spent a lot of money to do my honors, so it was like this catch-22. So I kind of gave up on that dream. What am I telling you? Oh, sorry. That's what I'm telling you. So anyway, recently I've realized, but I don't have to study in South Africa. I can do my master's in psychology online through universities overseas. So I'm busy looking at the whole thing. And also what I've realized, my passion is creativity. So it's to make stuff. It's to work from scratch, and to actually get to the place where you have the thing finished and everything. And I just love that. I love the fact that I can take the wool from the sheep, wash it, comb it, and then spin it, and wash it again, and dye it with avocado peels or whatever I'm using at that moment, and then knit a jersey out of it. To me, it's just so incredible. Or take something that somebody has thrown away and actually make something out of it. So that's my passion. And I believe, and if I look, I've been researching and stuff, there's a lot of places where there's more and more research into the thing of the healing properties of, for example, knitting, and the sense of accomplishment people are feeling when they complete something that they can see and they can wear and they can feel and stuff, for sewing and for all these different arts and crafts that's out there. So then, I think it's a Gentle Knitter. Yeah, it's a Gentle Knitter. Nicole from Gentle Knitter was talking about this book, and I don't have a link or anything. I'll try and get one. But basically, there's the story, the Victorian farm, the Edwardian farm, and then like the different time frames. And there's these three people, Peter, Ruth, and I forgot the other guy's name. And so the one is I think it's a historian, an anthropologist, and a geologist. Archeoloog, what's it in English? Can't remember. The person who digs up stuff to see how people lived. So anyway, there's these three people, and then they go and they live for a year accordingly to that time frame, like the Victorian time or the Theodore times and stuff. So it's extremely interesting. But one of the people from that show, I think it's the guy Peter, he wrote this book called Craft. Now today, if we think about craft, it's about cutting and sticking stuff and painting a bit and having a box and you paint the box, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's awesome that that opportunity is there. But craft in those days was actually the knowledge of knowing how to take the resources and turn them into something useful. So how to take this, go to cut down a piece of a tree and turn it into furniture. That whole process was craft. But then also to know how to grow a tree and to actually bring that tree to a place where you can use it, or to know how to make sure that your sheep produce the best wool, and then to how to shear the sheep and how to wash the wool and how to turn it into yarn. That whole process is called craft. And so I was speaking to my sister in England, and we were chatting away, and she said, but Mom and Dad actually has been doing craft all their lives. And I thought about it, because my mom started painting at 73. I think it's so awesome, and she's really good. I think so. And my dad bullied her into going for arts classes, because I think in a sense she kind of didn't know what she wanted to do anymore. You get to a certain age and everything has changed, and she would sit and do Sudoku and just sleep on her chair. And my family has never been like that. We've always been active and doing stuff, and even though she's got osteoarthritis and sometimes she's really in a lot of pain, she's always maintained a certain level of activity. And so my dad bullied her last year to go for art classes, and she threw a few tantrums, but she loved it, and she's really good. And it's so nice to see how her whole attitude to life has changed because of that. And so it just triggered a thing for me of I would like to study the impact of craft on mental health. But I can't just go and study it, so I need to do my master's to get to the place where I can do my doctorate in this field. So I've decided I'm going to study, and now I'm looking at options and how to fund it, because it's extremely expensive. Melish, no. Sorry. She's got this bad habit, no, of licking the floor. I said no. That's a good girl. Yes. Sorry. A bit of, yeah, you can see them. That's Melish, and there's Sinatra. Yeah, a bit of organizing the animals. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I would like to study, and it was just such a revelation to me of how craft has enriched my life and has brought me to a place of finding myself and of acknowledging who I am and my identity in the whole process. And so part of the thing is I would love to get to a place where I can do like courses in I almost want to call it creativity retreats, but a place of doing a retreat where you, in the process of this retreat, you can find yourself. So yeah, that was quite interesting. And then I realized my parents, like I said, like we never, because we were 5 kids, it was too expensive to buy meat from the butcher. So we would slaughter a cow and a pig, and my dad would go hunting and have some game. And that's how we grew up. I grew up working meat. I mean, I can actually cut steaks and everything else. I don't like it, but I do it because that's how you get your food, And my mom would make rusk. I don't have an example here, but she would make rusk. And so it's always been a process of making stuff what we need. And it was not even that's to this day, I mean, they still filter their own water, and all these different things, because that's just their mentality. And so I've been finding it very interesting to see how it has taught me how a different perspective in life. Yeah, that's enough about that, sorry. And then, as you can see, I'm in my little, it used to be my shop, but like I said, there's a road here in front and the shop's gone, because there was just too much dust. But also, if I want to study, I won't be able to maintain the amount of work I used to do, so I need to scale down so that I have time to study. And that is, I will knit, because knitting is part of my happy place. I will make clothes for myself, but I'm going to scale down on the work for other people. So let me talk about what I'm wearing. I'm so excited. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Sinatra. So my friend, Wendy, she's from America. She bought me some Tina Givens buttons. This is one of them. The violet dress. And I had some linen. and some cotton and some antique lace, and then I put it all together in this little dress, and I use avocado dye, but the avocado dye actually made stains, so I fixed it with these little pieces of lace on all the stains, and I just love this dress. It's comfy, it's loose, it's flowy. And then my headband, Elizabeth from Elizabeth Humble House made it for me. Then I want to show you this. I am so excited about this. So I've got this sweet friend. Oh, she's amazing. She lives in England, and she saw that I like old wooden pegs, dolly pegs they are called, and she sent me some. Out of the blue, this parcel arrived with these dolly pegs, and I'm so excited. I mean, look at this. They're all handmade, and this used to be the washing pegs. So that was really just something so awesome. Knitting wise, I'm still going strong on my friend's jersey. It's been her 63rd birthday this year, and this was supposed to be her 60th birthday present, but at least I have the front and the back done, which is really pretty. You can see this is just knit out of my head. That's the other thing. I'm really learning how to write patterns. I would like to actually at one stage release some of my patterns, because I've always knitted my own patterns, so there's a lot of things in my head, and I feel it's time to get it out. So I re-knitted this sleeve 4 times. The third time it was too there, but it was too narrow, and then I had to start again. And then I decided I'm not going to do this whole cable pattern again. I'm just doing more stitch. So I'm still working on that. It might have helped if I used the pattern, but anyway, I can't learn how to write patterns if I use patterns all the time. Another thing I did was I did my first test knit. It was incredible. Oh, it was difficult. You see, I've only knitted 3 pairs of socks in my life, 4, and I can do all the different things, but I'm learning now how to read patterns, and so I've always done it, but I've never read the pattern. So my aim for this year is to learn how to read patterns properly. So I did the Foot Ruffle sock by, what's her name, Arella Seaton. I'll try and put a link for her stuff. It's the most beautiful sock. I'll insert this a photo of the sock. And I really enjoyed the process, but what I've realized is I like intricate knitting, but this pattern has like twisted stitches as well as the lace pattern and the cable pattern, and there's a lot of things going on in the pattern, and it's beautiful. I love it. But I've realized that I like the feel of things, but I don't always like all the intricate parts. So for me, I would, for example, not have put in the twisted stitches, because you would still get a beautiful idea if you just did it without the twisted stitches. So it was really a trial of patience to knit it. But I got this sock done in time, what I was supposed to do, and I'm still knitting on the second one, because I do want these socks in my sock drawer. Winter is coming and I need hand knitted socks. We all do. Yeah, so that has been quite an experience for me, but I'm enjoying the process. Sorry, it's like having toddlers around me. Yeah. Sorry, it's my... Oh, I want to show you. I made myself a diary. So I've used some leather that I had, and you just tie it up like an old-fashioned book. So you tie it up at the back, and then I first used it like an old clip-in diary, but the rings were too small. It was 6. So I sourced these. I know you can find them anywhere else much easier, but in South Africa you kind of struggle to find them. And then so I've been looking for them since January, and I could find them online, but to import them is a bit expensive. So after such a search, somebody said to me, but her friend used to do this type of classes, and then I phoned this lady, and she said, yes, I've got a few, you can buy them from me. And it was not an arm and a leg. So I've got my rings, and then there's this thing called, what's the Scattered Squirrel. It's an online lady who does like printouts for diaries, and you can just print out what you need. So I've printed out the things I need for my diary, and then in the beginning of the year, I was praying, and the word that God gave me was build. 2018 is the time to build. And then I was really praying about it. I said, Lord, why did you give me a build? And what I've realized was there's a place where in Nehemiah 4 it says that they built, but they couldn't keep on building because the people were tired and there were too much rubble. And what I've realized was, yeah, let me read it to you. The strength of the laborers is giving out, and there is so much rubble that we cannot rebuild the wall. And so I prayed about it, and I really asked God, what is He saying to me about this? Because I've been feeling for a while, I'm building all these things, and nothing comes to fruition. Nothing gets finished. As soon as I'm getting to a certain point, it feels like my world just falls apart. And then I start again, and it's this whole like cycle, and it's always been. So I've really been looking at a few things in my life because of that. So one of the things that I really felt clearly what God was saying to me was, it's time to get rid of the rubble. And so I've realized in my life, a lot of the rubble is things like I've been holding on to hurts of the past. I've been holding on to disappointments. I've been holding on to stuff. And so I've really been slowly but surely editing my life and getting rid of stuff, sorting out my attitude towards situations and people, and not allowing, not holding grudges, not keeping things back and say, oh, it's never going to change. To really have hope for a future and to say, but you know what? Yes, my situation looks like this at the moment, but there is hope for the future. And it's time to get rid of the rubble so that I can continue and actually live my life to its fullest potential. Because not to live a life to its fullest potential, to me it feels like it's such a waste. And I feel like I have a responsibility because my life was given to me, and there's a few places in my life where I almost lost it and where it's been really touch and go because of certain things. But I'm here and I'm alive and I'm enjoying life, and every day I make a choice that today I will live this life to the best of my ability, and today I will live this life to the honor of God, and today I will live this life, and in the process of living my life others will be blessed. And sometimes I fail and sometimes I'm successful, but I'm a work in progress. And that is, to me, is the awesome thing. And that's why I love knitting and creating and sewing and all these things. Is, for me, it's that process of getting to the end result. And I'm so excited actually for this year because I feel like it's the year where I give myself grace to be a work in progress. And I almost want to challenge, if anybody's watching, I want to challenge you. Give yourself grace and be that work in progress and work on the situations that you need to work on and the things you need to work on, and finish some things like a sweater for your friend for her 60th birthday, even if it's 3 years later. Still finish it. Because in that process you get a sense of accomplishment, and in that sense of accomplishment there's a place where you find your worth. Because we live in a society where a lot of things are the things that makes us worthy has been taken away from us. And it's season to take back our worth and to say, I am worthy. And I am worthy to actually make myself a dress, because I've never made myself. I make myself now and again, but I wouldn't make dresses for myself because I didn't feel worthy. And so for me, it's been such a process this last 3 months, actually a bit longer, but it's been amazing to see how I'm walking on this road, and every day the next step has been revealed to me. Well, I hope you have a lovely day. I'll put a link to wherever you can find me on Instagram at Ravelry. Instagram, it's Agnita1Create or Agnita Creations. And Ravelry, it's Agnita Creations. And then on Facebook, it's Agnita Create. And I think that's it. So, and if you want to get in contact with me, I think the best is just to send me a DM or leave me a message in Ravelry if you do Ravelry. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.